Hello, friends. Congratulations on starting university or on getting into college. I am super proud of you. You've taken a bold step in achieving your professional goals. This is just a step you're taking in your journey, and I wish you success. Now, college is really fun and very exciting, but there's one hassle, which is finances. How do you manage your finances so that you don't go broke, or how do you make sure that you thrive in college? In this video, I'll be sharing up ultimate tips that will help you thrive and succeed in college and ensure that you don't go broke. A heads up I want to give here is that I'll be looking at my computer screen once in a while just to make sure I'm on track with the advice or the tips that I would like to share with you today. So the first tip I would like to share is track your income and your expenses. Now, if you're someone just spends carelessly, it'll be hard for you to know if you're spending on things that are important or on things that are actually important. Let's say you don't know if more of your money is going on DoorDash or more of your money is actually going into something useful like getting your textbook or getting the important things that you need in college. And maybe at the end of the month, you'll find yourself needing to pay your bills and you do not have money. So making sure you track your expenses and your income will help you to track where your money is going to. You can use a budgeting tool or you can use an Excel sheet. Now, if you're someone that just started college, I'll suggest Excel sheet or a Google sheet just so that you're able to know how to use Google Sheet or Excel. Now, in this Excel sheet, you want to make sure that you have your income, you want to make sure you have your expenses and the top expenses, which are your rent, your groceries, and your utilities. Once you're able to track this, then the remaining of the money that you have or your income, you can save it or do as that pleases you. But just make sure that you're able to track your finances. Number two, make sure that you're able to differentiate if you're buying your needs or your wants. Let's say, for example, the new iPhone is out. Do you need it or do you want it? Ask yourself this question before you make any purchase. Like, do you really need it or do you just want it? Or before you DoorDash, ask yourself, can I just make a homemade meal or do I really need to DoorDash? This will help you to discipline yourself, firstly, as a human, and secondly, discipline yourself financially so that you're not just making purchases just because you want to make purchases, even though you don't have the money. Number three, implement the 24-hour rule. As a college student, you find yourself having friends that are able to afford some things that you cannot afford, and you might go into the cycle of getting into debt or getting into loans just to make sure you're trendy. I would not recommend that part. Avoid impulsive buys, meaning before you're purchasing something, again, it goes back to tip number two, which is, do you really need it or do you want it? Now, if you have this really huge urge to make a purchase, it's usually online. Give yourself 24 hours, put your packet or put the item you want into a cart and give yourself 24 hours. I assure you, tomorrow when you're waking up, you would have forgotten about it. So, practice delayed gratification. Tip number four, student discount. See, there are so many huge organizations out there that really want to make life easy for students. So if depending on the domain you are, there might be a software that that you will need to use or a tool that you need to use, and maybe it's only a paid version. Trust me, there exists a version that students can acquire, be it with your student ID or with your student email. You just have to make sure that you are looking for all these discounts online. In your neighborhood or just around you, there are restaurants that are providing meals that students can have or that have student discounts. Just make sure, like, do this research. Anytime you want something, ask yourself if there's a student discount. And trust me, you'll always find it. Tip number five, um, get a roommate. Now, I know that maybe you grew up, or some of us grew up where we had our own personal space or a private space where we wanted to do things, and we still want to do the same thing in college. If you're someone on a budget, I would not recommend that path. I would recommend getting a roommate because getting a roommate is true that has pros and cons, and it has pros and cons. But in terms of finances, you definitely need a roommate. For example, if your rent is like $1,500, when you get a roommate, you have to pay $750, and your roommate pays 750. You end up paying 50-50 each, and you're able to learn about your roommate. I'll give my example. So I had three roommates. We lived like in a 4-bedroom house. I had roommates from various countries in Africa, and it was just good to have people to talk to at the end of the day, interact with them, discuss how school went, and learn about their cultures. Get a roommate, it will serve you. Let me know in the comment section if you all want me to do a video on the pros and the cons of having a roommate. Tip number 6 is DIY your coffee and lunch. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. If you like coffee, if you like eating, take time every weekend and have a meal plan of the things you want to take to school, depending if you go to school 5 times a week, that is Monday to Fridays, such that every day when you wake up, you just take out your lunch from fridge and you put it in your bag and you go with it. Trust me, it will save you a lot of dollars. Now, coffee or tea, when I just started university, I always thought that, oh, coffee is just $3 or $5. And then each time I wanted to try something new or a new flavor. But I found myself spending around a lot of money at the end of the month on coffee. Immediately, I got a coffee maker, or I just boil hot water and then I put my coffee. If you're using instant coffee, it saves me a lot of money. Make your own food, do your own coffee, and you take me for that advice. Now, tip number 7 is find a way to earn money. Now, when you just get into college, there's so many things that you can do. If you know how to drive, you can teach someone how to drive at a very low fare just for you to get income. If you're good at social media management, you can manage social media pages. You can tutor, you can be a videographer, you can be a writer, you can be a blogger. You can just, there's so many things as a student you can do to earn extra money or extra income. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is in school, you can be a research assistant, you can be a teaching assistant. All these things will help you to generate some income and provide you extra money that you can use to get the things that you need for yourself. Tip number 7 is tip number 7 is use the free resources you have on campus. Your campus library, the career center, the gym, the health center, and at times the cafeteria. At times the meals there, at times all these resources on campus are usually very free. For in terms of the cafeteria, it might differ, but I know that library, career center, gym, and health center, they are usually free because all these are covered into your tuition. My dear friend, make sure you're using all those resources. Make sure you're using all those resources. The printing devices, if you have documents to print, print them on campus. Use all those resources and they'll go a long way in helping you to thrive in college financially. I know that college budgeting can be really scared, but with these tips, trust me, you're going to thrive and succeed in college without getting broke. Share with me some comments that I did not mention or that you think will help someone in college, to get the best out of their lives or to get the best out of their college life. Thank you.